Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Seller Sessions. Isabella Hamilton here with Rainbow and NF Comic. I have a special surprise for you guys. I have Mr. Armand King with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I already got a few messages from people yesterday after Danny, my co-host, he posted your bio. That's what we do before the podcast. And I already had some people reach out to me and said that what you're doing is amazing in San Diego. So just giving a little background to everybody listening, I met this wonderful human here at an event in San Diego, and your story just really inspired me. The fact that you are working so hard on really all your business ventures, but also on your nonprofit. So just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you have done in San Diego, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur for one. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a little kid, selling drawings for little bits of money. Been doing it since I was probably 6 years old. Um, wasn't my choice, but at some point I owned a restaurant and God kidnapped me and said, Armand, I know you want to run restaurants, throw reggae concerts, draw comic books, but that's not what you're going to do anymore. So for the past 12 years, I've been running a nonprofit organization. I founded here in San Diego that helps the highest risk, highest need kids. Young from middle school. We have groups in middle schools. We have women's group, and we help them with the key ingredient, entrepreneurship. And these are kids that were formerly went gang involved, criminal justice involved, or people that just needed an option in life. So I've been doing that for 12 years, and now it brought me to where we are today and the work that we should be taking worldwide.
So what made you go from, because being a serial entrepreneur, there's a lot of drive for money, for profit, for winning. And how do you go from that and transform it into, I'm going to focus on this nonprofit, I want others to succeed before me? Because that's really putting yourself in a way in the backseat while everybody else is winning. Isn't that essentially where a nonprofit is?
Well, you're right on part of that. A nonprofit is nonprofit. Believe me, after 10 years, I've learned that more than ever. But as an entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur, they're not necessarily money driven. An entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur, is someone who has to lead their own destiny, that has to create, has to own their own product, their own self. Whether money's involved or not, a real entrepreneur is going to enjoy what they do. And the key ingredient to success is being happy. I don't care what it is. Being an entrepreneur, if I wasn't an entrepreneur, I would not like life. I can work for other people, and I've been an amazing employee for a bunch of different companies, but I always have to create. I always have to own my own business. Not just own my own business, but start something. That is my happiness and success. And I learned that about myself as I've created a couple different books. Actually, two comic books to date and two books that have actually been published. A book on romance tips on a budget, another book on the history of domestic human sex trafficking. I produced those books, and just the creation process, the launching of them, bringing a thought from my mind into physical manifestation was the greatest feeling I ever had. So that's successful. Luckily, I've made some money from those ventures, but even if I didn't, I was happy. So that nonprofit work, like I said, I can't even take credit. I didn't want, there wasn't a thought in my head, oh, I'm going to go help the community. I want to help the youth. I never thought about that. But I feel it was a calling. And at a point in my life, God had put it on my plate, like here in the midst of me owning my own restaurant, doing entrepreneur ventures, building this comic company, throwing concerts. I put it all on hold because I seen a need. And in my background, I have out of 8 of my best friends, I'm one of 4 that's still alive. Most of my best friends are dead. Most of them died due to homicide, second drug overdose. So and when this group of kids that were following in me and my friends' footsteps got brought to my attention, And I realized, like, what am I going to do with them? I wanted to really desperately stop this cycle of death and incarceration that plagued my life. And from there, this nonprofit was built. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't even know what a nonprofit was. I just wanted to help. And I saw kids that looked like me when I was 16, looked like my friends, my brother that was murdered that's not here anymore. I saw people that looked like us. And organically, it grew into this organization that's done tremendous work over the past decade, helping thousands of lives. I think we have the nonprofit has about 500 mentees, participants this year alone, and this has been on an annual basis. And I've seen the impact. I've seen people's lives change in front of my eyes of the work.
So. What was that point where you were like, I have all these things that I'm doing, all these businesses that I'm running, but this will take precedence as of right now?
I go once again, just really organic. It wasn't I didn't sit down and think about it. My passion flowed that direction. My inside desire went that way. So I don't stop myself. If I'm passionate and my mind is consumed with something, that's what I'm on at that time. And I never let go. One thing about for entrepreneurs and people who are creative too, never let go of the things you're working on. So you just do it little by little. You might have several projects in your mind, and one just has your attention or needs your time more than others right there. The other ones, you just work on them little by little. I probably have 5 books pending right now that I work on every now and then, but eventually it's done and you have it and ready. So, so your machine keeps going, but the passion, my heart was in the help and the work, and it showed through the work, and the people benefited off of that passion. And then as things start shifting, and as things are, I'm in a shift right now, and not from the passion, but now also I'm mixing the passion with the entrepreneurship collectively. Because even as a nonprofit, it was an entrepreneur bug there, because you started it's a corporation. It's a corporation, and we grew up successful. We went from a garage to being a multi-million-dollar organization within the 10 years. I built a business. I built an entity that from 3 people working for free to now a staff of 9 people paying their kids, paying their life benefits. That was a corporation. That same energy, same passion that went into the nonprofit, you do with any business. And now, as the shift is happening from that work, which is good and it's running, it's not stopping, it's not destined to stop. Now I'm taking those experiences I learned there and putting them into this for-profit business, where we created this youth mentoring curriculum called Walk With Me Impact. Now, this curriculum is going to take the work that I've learned and things that I've done over these past 10, 12 years and help other people throughout the world to be able to do this, utilize the skills I've gained, and now they can help more people. But that is a for-profit business. People will be purchasing this curriculum, and it's also going to employ even more people and help more people. So it's time to expand.
Beautiful. I love that. So I think it's worth going back to what you just said, because it was so important. You said you work a little bit at the time on it, and eventually it will become that. What do you think stops most entrepreneurs from really starting anything? Do you think, is it that they do maybe too much research and it's overwhelming, whether it's a business, whether it's a nonprofit, which is, you're right, it is a business. It's like you're putting in the same amount of hours or more for somebody else profiting, in a sense. So it's like, it's almost like every entrepreneur's, if you think about it, worst nightmare. It's like you keep working, but then nothing really manifests in currency, but yet you're doing all these other things. So nonprofit, like the way it's like in a way separated in my mind, at least. But what do you think stops entrepreneurs from really starting any type of venture, whether it's for profit or nonprofit?
So multiple things. But one is, don't force it. And some people try to force an entrepreneur venture, not everybody's an entrepreneur. I know it's cool to say now, and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Once upon a time, saying you were an entrepreneur was like saying you were a musician, and everybody laughed at you. But now all you have to do is change your LinkedIn profile, put entrepreneur on there, and that's something. Even though you create nothing, you do nothing. So just using, first of all, what's your why? Are you really an entrepreneur? I could put basketball player under my profile in my description, but don't give me a basketball because I'm not going to win. I'm not going to be good. You're going to be mad at me if you pick me on your team. So, but entrepreneur, if you really are one, and for those entrepreneurs, speaking directly toward them, and you have a passion, you have an idea, go for it if you really like it. And you got to get out of your own way. And I think a lot of is self doubt, and also not just self doubt, but you're afraid of what other people are going to say to you and about you for going after your passion. You're afraid of what your parents are going to say. You're afraid of what your friends are going to say. So a lot of it is fear, and you need to get over that fear. Put fear aside. And then also not just that fear, but also sometimes people get in positions where you have a passion, you are an entrepreneur, but you're also afraid of losing money. You might have a good job, you have benefits. If I go after what I really want to do, then I won't be able to pay my rent. I won't be able to drive this nice car that I'm driving just because, not even because I like it, because I'm trying to impress other people. All of those things. So until you get those fears out of the way, then you can move smoothly with what your passion is. And a lot of entrepreneurs that are working jobs and not pursuing their passion, they're not happy. And forget money, forget everything. Like I said, success is happiness. Are you happy with what you're doing with your life? And your happiness is not necessarily Isabella's happiness, Armand's happiness. Your happiness is your happiness. If you're happy selling turtles from a turtle farm and maybe getting some money every month, but you're happy, life is short. You live one time. There is no second round. What makes you happy, entrepreneur? And you may have to let go of that comfortable job, so get out of your own way. Fear, I would say fear is what leads to a lot of entrepreneurs' procrastination from doing what they want to do.
It's like I want to take a moment to take that in because it's so it's so good. But it's like a lot of us have these thoughts, right? We all want to be happy. We all want to do something that satisfies not only that like monetary part. We want to do things for others. It's like our innate, I'd like to think, passed down from generations, like our innate desire is to be good. I like to think that. So why don't more people start it? Why did you decide to take on this hardship in a way? Because here you are, you're like, I don't want to be like my friends. However, I want to help them and those like them to get out of them. So why you? What made you be the one that's like, you know what, I'm going to do something about it? Because we all think it. I thought it. I don't have a nonprofit.
Right. And I have many friends that I would say are more educated than me, that speak better than me, that teach better than me, but they don't choose to do this work either. And so only thing I can claim is I move forward with what not just passionate about, but when I feel passionately about something, I just move. I don't stop. I'm not afraid. I just move. And when I move to do something, I do it with all my might. And anything I've learned, if I touch it, if I'm passionate about it, it's succeeding. I don't care what it is. Once upon a time, cannabis is now legal and on the stock market. It wasn't once upon a time. I was incarcerated for 3 years. I've been in 9 different institutions for cannabis operation that I was operating in several states throughout the United States. I was 21 years old. I made $250,000 in 6 months. It was successful because I was passionate about it, because I wasn't afraid of what someone would do, say, and I went forward and I made those connections. And I made that as a 21-year-old kid, no college, anything like that. That was an entrepreneur venture. Unfortunately, at the time, it was illegal, and I ended up doing 3 years in custody, and 3 years on probation for something that now millionaires only can invest in, right? So, yeah, it's just whatever I'm passionate about, and if it touches me, I'm moving forward. There's no roadblocks. There's nothing that can stop me. It's not the or, it's the and. It's where is the opportunity? Like I've heard study the ant. The ant is probably one of the smallest things you can see that moves. That ant is determined. That ant is moving. You might put a roadblock in that ant's way. It's gonna it's gonna keep going until it finds another route. If one of his friends falls down, it goes back, picks it up, and carries it. And they grind all during the summer. They work, they stack, they build. So when winter time comes, they can be tucked away somewhere. You don't see ants during the winter, but they stack, they made it happen, they worked, and they just keep doing it. So yeah, just passion, keep going. I hope I answered your question.
You did very, very well. But how do you cultivate that? How do you become that man that says, I'm going to do it no matter what? How do you become that? Or are you born with that?
I think a lot of it's due to not just being born with it, but a lot of it has to do with the way you were brought up, your parenting. Different people we mold kids. We mold you as a youth to have this mind frame, to have this mentality. And I can speak for myself. Like, I was raised with two entrepreneur parents. My mom was a seamstress, makes amazing clothes and all kinds of things. I watched her grind and do that for most of my life. My father selling uh, toiletry products and stuff, and any other quick scheme that he could find. But he was an entrepreneur, and he'd move fast. And eventually he purchased a restaurant. Not being a chef, he just had a good deal from a friend to buy this restaurant. And my dad doesn't even cook, but he saw an opportunity and he jumped in it. Watching these things, running behind them, being trained, being conditioned. There was a reason I was 6 years old putting price tags on my artwork and forcing people with aunties, uncles to buy them from me. I was selling. It was fun. So a lot of this is internal training, and to cultivate that, I would say, like, I've listened to a lot of, if this is you and you have these things and you want to bring that out more, seek mentorship from people. Find the person most closest to the person you would like to become and learn from them. And thank God for YouTube and stuff. Now you're like, all right, where's this person that I want to learn from, Elon Musk, but I can't? Well, you can turn them on and listen to them. Luckily, a lot of successful entrepreneurs, successful business people, successful people in general, their stories are out there. That can be your mentor. So if you already have these desires, you feel it, seek it out. If you don't, this is on you. Look, this is not everybody's meant for this. This is not easy. It's gonna be times you're gonna be poor. You're gonna have to sleep on a couch, maybe. If you really want it, you got to go for it. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. So I'm not expecting everybody to do it. And once again, opinions of everyone has an opinion. This is just mine. So I'm not saying this is the one way, but hopefully you get something from what I'm saying. But this is what worked for me. And I constantly never think you arrived either. Like, oh, I got it. I run an entrepreneur class from the nonprofit, and we have people that go through this cohort training to be entrepreneurs. And at the end, we have a Shark Tank style business plan pitch contest. And like a couple people, close people to me, had said, oh, I already know all this. I'm an entrepreneur. I do, and not necessarily financially successful, business not growing. I'm like, I put the class together and I'm learning from it. I'm running a successful business and I'm still learning from it. Never be above learning and soaking up game and information. Get it and never stop. And once you think you got it and you've arrived, you failed.
It's like a test over and over and over again. And I completely agree. And I love that you're opening up about this, because it's very important to understand that really anybody can be an entrepreneur, but it's a matter of course, there's all these factors like being brought up by entrepreneurs, and, your desire and your fear and your risk tolerance and all this. But you see families that, one child is very entrepreneurial and the other one is not. And I know we're not all meant to be, but what are some things? I know you said some mentorship, but are people how do people get a start on, let's say, if they're super introverted? Because that's one thing that I hear a lot from people. It's like, oh, I can't really speak up. Like, I'm scared of making any moves. I'm scared of leaving my cushy job that, puts food on my kid's table. Like, what are those first steps that you take that are that can change somebody's life, I guess? Because I know a lot of people are listening to this and they're going to say, well, it's nice when you already have something built over the past 10, 20 years, but how do we start now?
If you're scared and if you're scared, be scared. Okay. Don't do anything and live the life you're living right now until you're unsatisfied with the way you're living. And not everybody, I don't believe everybody is an entrepreneur. Can't, like, you can say it, but this is hard. You're really, really pushing constantly, not knowing where your next meal is coming from, not knowing if you're going to be accomplish your goals, and you still do it anyway. It's easy to go get a job. That is easy. And not that getting a job is wrong. Like what they say, the number 2 person at Facebook is making way more money than I ever will with the job. So if that's monetary success, shit, go get that job. Go get that job. And you don't, this entrepreneur stuff, you may not make any money, but enjoy being an entrepreneur. So don't attach finance. Oh, I'm going to be rich being an entrepreneur. No, don't. You will be disillusioned, and many people are committing suicide off that disillusion right now.
Yeah, let's pause it for a second, because that's so important, because people, that's what they think. They automatically associate being an entrepreneur to having a shit ton of money, right?
Nah.
But it doesn't always, and then they're disappointed. They're like, well, this is not the life that I signed up for. So it's like you're signing up to be an entrepreneur, true, whether that brings in monetary value. And hopefully it does. We all want that, right? Hopefully it does.
So that's the difference between a real entrepreneur and someone who just wants to make money. Find a way to make money. There's a bazillion ways to make money. You figure it out. But the key is, what makes you happy? What do you like doing? And I can't tell you what makes you happy. You tell you what makes you happy, and live the best life you can until your light is turned out. I've in this past year, this past 2021, I've lost a loved one every single month of the year to death, mostly to murder, second to drug overdose. In the past year, in the past 4 weeks, there's been 3 kids that I know of here locally in San Diego that have lost their lives. Tomorrow's not promised. Okay. And then to natural causes, not just to the street life. What makes you happy, and rock that? If being an entrepreneur and you can't take the struggle, like, I love it. And some people aren't in a position to struggle. You may have 2, 3 kids. You may have responsibilities that require you to make X amount of money right now. We'll do that. You do not have to give up on your job right now, but you can also simultaneously, like I said earlier, be working on your entrepreneur venture. You go give somebody, you're an entrepreneur and you have to work this job right now. You give that company 8 hours a day. They give you a fraction of what you earn for them. And then Uncle Sam takes out their piece. Uncle Sam's always going to take out their piece. But then you have another 5, 6, 7 hours in the day. What are you doing with that? Are you applying any of that time towards that book you wanted to create, to that podcast you wanted to do, to selling Hello Kitty dolls on eBay? Do you anything off? Are you utilizing OfferUp? The tools are there for you to put
Why don't more people use them? What stops this from? Here's the whole world. You have access to literally everything, to every information, never more than ever before, right? But yet people don't do it. Why?
Fear and excuses. Fear, excuses, and with the everyone thing. This ain't for everyone. and you could be happy. Like I hear my one of my online mentors, Gary Vee, say all the time when he's talking about having friends that work a job and play softball for their whole week, but they're happy as hell. That's that person. So I'm not looking for everyone. It's too hard worrying about what the hell I'm doing to make me happy. This ain't for everyone. And if you're that personal, but talking to those people that have that desire, want to push, you do it. Get out of your own way. Put the fear aside. Put caring about the judgment of others aside, and go for it. Because all of the tools, unlike ever before, our great grandmothers didn't have, our grandmother didn't have this opportunity where she could literally pick up her phone and go on to and start a business online and never leave her living room with her pajamas on. You can do that right now. You can make a career off of collecting Smurf dolls right now. You can. On the side, your side hustle that you start may end up making more money than your job, and then you quit your job and you're even more happy. It's never, you could rent your car out. You can literally upload your car and rent your car out while you're sitting at home. There's no excuses if you are an entrepreneur not to go get the bag. No excuses.
No excuses. I agree. I agree. It's just a matter of I don't know if a lot of people, they just give up too easily, or they don't know where to start. Because I like to think that we all have something that we really enjoy doing. But how do you go from that? I'm gonna try to even find something that makes me happy. I feel like there's such a big gap from, like, okay, I'm working all day. I don't even have time or patience to discover what makes me happy, to even consider it, turning that into something that may be profitable. Do you have any tools? I mean, I know you seem like you were wired in a sense and kind of born with this, like, just desire of creating, but there's a lot of people who, want to have that life. They're just not like you, like, are there any tools that you've seen by coaching so many people so far, that takes them from that sedentary place where they're just like, we don't know what we're doing, so we're not doing anything, to like, we tried this, and now we're happy, or it works.
Right. So once again, we're living in the greatest, I believe, the greatest time ever for you to get your dream and your passion out there.
I
And
agree.
it's being practical about like, okay, I'm this person. I want to make my own teacups. How do I do it? I don't know how to do it. I've never met anybody that does it. Like even this, like this curriculum that I'm launching. How do I do it? What should I do? First place, Armand suggestion, YouTube University. Like you go, I swear to God, YouTube and Google, like just those two. Let's not go anywhere else. From your living room on your phone, stop watching a bunch of TikTok videos that aren't unless you're creating them or you're searching for content. That's different. But go type in whatever it is you want to do into Google, type it into the YouTube search. I guarantee you there's hundreds of videos telling you how to do it. Like right now, there's crowdfunding. So I'm going to be running a crowdfunding campaign to get the prototype of my curriculum put together. What is Armand doing? I am turning on YouTube. I've subscribed to a few different people. Crowdfunding. How do I do it? Just type in crowdfunding. Type in make teacups, starting a cup business. Type in what you want to do and start listening. So now that's where the laziness kicks in. Do you really want it? That's the question. If you really want it, the tools are there. There's like once again, excuse killer. We kill excuses around here. Google and YouTube.
Mm.
Now do your research. Spend 30 hours looking it up, seeing what other people do. And if it's nothing specifically, which is hard to find something that's not, they're so specific on things, how to make red earrings. There's so many, how to paint green walls. There's so many things that specific out there. You'll find it. And if not, there's something very close. And from there, boop, boop, boop. Now you got to get off your ass. Nope, no, no. What? What now? The information's there. You got it. Now what? It's on you.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, once they start, they realize that it's not as scary as they thought. I mean, yeah, there's still work in the process. And like you said earlier, you mentioned it, you're like, you're doing really, really good. And then you get there and then it's done. And then something happens and then it's all gone. And it's like, you're like, well, wait, well, is there a lesson here? Sometimes just things happen. Sometimes things don't work out. But it's the lessons that you take, that you learn from, and those, I swear, are meant, like, I love winning just like the next entrepreneur, but when I do fail, I learn some lessons that I could never ever learn from winning.
So
When
you
you
didn't fail. You didn't fail. Your loss, your L was not a loss. It was a lesson. And if as long as you learn from it, you didn't fail.
yeah,
You got sharper. You got better. Ready for the next fight. Ready for the next like playing a video game. I used to play Super Mario Brothers when I was a kid, and you go through it. It'd be these different levels, and they'd get intense. Bad guys that come throw fireballs at you. You might die. You might have to start over again. You get to the boss, and it's level. It gets intense, and now you're like, oh shoot. And you might lose 2-3 times, but you didn't stop playing the game. You kept going until you beat it. And then on the flip side, if none of those things existed and all you did in the game was just walk smoothly by, there was no fireballs, there was no bad guy, no intense music, and you just walked, you wouldn't play that game anymore. That would be boring. That game sounds lame. You want challenges. So is life. There's going to be some fireballs thrown at you. There's going to be some holes you fall in and like, oops, but you learned. And I bet next time you play, you're like, that hole is right there. This time I'm going to jump over it. Or this time I got to run and then jump. You learn and you get better. And the game is fun until you beat it. And then you're not done. Okay, where's the next game? Where's the next challenge? So long as you learn from it, turn your L's into lessons. They're not losses. You never failed. Failure is when you gave up and never put the game back on. Now you failed. That's easy to do.
So you never really reach failure until you give up.
Until
Everything
you
else until that point is a lesson.
100%. As long as you learned from it and you kept going, you failed when you sat on your ass and didn't do nothing else with it.
Yeah.
That's failure.
Yeah. When you mentioned, it's like avoiding that hole now, that pothole that I remember I really wanted a bicycle when I was young. Okay. We didn't have money growing up in Romania. And I don't know, somehow I got to trick my dad to get me a bike. And it was the most beautiful mountain bike that you've ever seen. And, I've never owned a bike before. I mean, I've rode bikes from like my friends, but I remember taking the bike and, I was like in my zone. I was like, this is the best thing. And there's the curve, right? There's a curve. And I've always seen people just kind of like, they just, I don't know, somehow they're here and then they're on the curve and they're, where this is going, right? So I'm like, I bike, and I don't know that I have to lift my tire because people just like go, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's the way to go. So I catch speed, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it, right? And needless to say, I learned that whenever you go from this place to this place, you have to like lift your tire a little. Exactly. I didn't do that, but it was definitely one of my greatest lessons, and I've learned a lot from that. And one was like, just don't think everything is as it seems, I guess, in a way. But yeah, that was.
That's entrepreneurship. Like you're gonna hit those curbs. You're gonna fall. You're gonna bruise your knees. You're gonna hit your head, and that failure would be, Dad, I'm never riding a bike again.
Yeah.
I'm never riding this bike again. But you got back on, and you were ready for that curb next time, and you continue. Average is easy. If you're an entrepreneur or just someone who wants, you don't even have to be an entrepreneur. You can just be someone who wants more in life, above average, wants some great goal. Go for it. Once again, back to you live one time. Go for it. If you don't make it, guess what? You'll be average anyway. You'll be right there anyway. Might as well go for it. Like, why not? Why not? What's the fear? So get that out of your way and jump up on that curb and lift them handlebars up, next time.
That's right. That's right. I do that now. But let's go the opposite way. There are people who, if your dreams are too high, they might want to take you down, like comment on it. Like they want to like kill your dreams. Do you have
Who?
that? I don't know, people around. Oh, your dreams are too high. Like you
Right.
should tone your dreams down. Do you ever encounter people
Those
like
are
that?
average people. And you get those people from around you fast. They sound like cancers.
Mm.
If you have people around you and
Either
you're
like the zodiac sign or cancer, as in my.
like killing you, like destruction. If you have people around you, and not everybody's meant to hear your big dreams. And no, and sometimes no offense to those people. They may be great people, they may really love you, but their mind is not on that level. And you got to understand it, being their upbringing, what they've accomplished, what they haven't accomplished, how they feel about themselves. And sometimes we fall into that in parents and people in our family. They have only accomplished but so much, and they may have had dreams at some point and didn't get there. And they may really be trying to help you and think, no, I don't want you to get hurt like I did. I don't want you to be unaccomplished like I did. All these numerous things. But one thing for sure, those people, you don't quit telling your big dreams to small-minded people. That's your fault. Shut up. You know what you're doing. Work on it. And if and when you're blessed with the right people around you that are encourage you, not yes men, not yes women that are just like, oh yeah, you're great, just because, don't get those people either. But if you have people that are really encouraging, really you can tell your dreams to, and they'll, even whether they are there or not, they can acknowledge it and have good conversation. Those are people you tell it to. But if you've noticed you're telling this person, they always shut you down or slight you. You can't do that. Oh, you need 10 years of school to do that. Oh, you got to be a man to do that. Oh, men aren't supposed to do stuff like that. Oh, this industry is not for you. Or if you those people and you're like, whoa, after 1-2 times, stop talking to them.
But they're
Stop.
your friends. But they're your
Who
friends.
cares? Who cares? Do you want it? Unless you are mentally strong, you are powerful enough and self-confident enough that no matter what, and determined enough, no matter what anybody says, you're going to do it anyway. Tell everybody. And another thing, don't be afraid to tell people your dreams or what you're working on. Don't be afraid to tell people. Some people want to hold their manuscript. I'm not sharing this with anybody. Don't be that afraid either. No one's gonna steal your plans. No one's gonna run away with your goals or your dreams. And it was meant for you to do. And if they do, yeah, right. Not barely any. Most people are average. Most people, so you don't have to be all locked down 007 with what you want to do.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because this podcast is a lot of our listeners are Amazon sellers, and a lot of Amazon sellers tend to feel like they need to protect their product. What do I mean by this? Because you're not in the Amazon world. So like they'll start selling a product on Amazon, and there's a million just like it. Yet, however, if they are in a place where they're asked to share what that product is, most people would say no. They won't tell you what that product is. And it's always been interesting to me, because I'm very vocal about everything. Like everybody that's watching me, everybody that knows me, they know my story. I'm from Romania. I was broke. I want to be a billionaire. Like there's some things that people know. When they see me, they're like, yeah, we know. I'm very open about it. But there are other people who, let's say now they started selling a baby shampoo, but they don't want to tell others for this fear of somebody else stealing their idea. And my response to that is always like, one, it takes so much effort for you to do something that you yourself enjoy. Nobody's going to take time to go create something that you already created and stick to it and win over you. It's hard enough for them to even watch a Gary Vee video. Like, stop hiding from people. We're giving too much credit to people sometimes. Sometimes enough, sometimes too much.
Agreed. But now say you had that shampoo and you went to meet with an executive or somebody, a creative at Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo, and you might not want to tell them people without an NDA, but like the average person, you don't have to be afraid to share your idea. And I believe that, and especially like depending on the work, like the work I'm doing with this like this mentoring curriculum, if someone was to steal it, and this is just different, it's a different type of business, but if someone was to steal these ideas on how to go help people and save lives,
Please do.
please do, please. Hey, steal it all. You need another meeting? Let me tell you, this is what I'm doing. And you, because even with what I'm doing, the world is so big. There's only a fraction of the people that I'm even going to be able to service with this. I'm going to save lives. So if you want to, this called Walk With Me Impact. If you want Run With Me Impact, I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah,
But,
talk
but
about that. Let's talk about this. What are you working on right now? What's
uh,
walk?
Okay, so I'm working on based off my 12 years mentoring experience. I have some proven methods that work to help save young, specifically in this version, young men, elementary, middle school, and high school age students. This curriculum program is going to be facilitated by people throughout the nation, primarily North America, Canada, and the U.S. And for juvenile detention facilities, school districts, even customizable for mom, grandma, single parent that has a young man and doesn't know how to teach them this stuff. So the concentration areas on here are gun violence prevention, youth violence, drug abuse, drug overdose, as well as human sex trafficking, and several other issues that you deal with in a very creative way. The homework the kids have are rap songs that are being created to speak the language in which there's artistic expression in here. There's hand-drawn pictures that I drew that will be getting turned into NFTs coming in September. Working on that really soon as another fundraising tool for this project. We captured a video of lived experience experts, people who have gone through the motions like myself. So if there's somebody, so oftentimes there's people that have these youth programs and they may not come from these backgrounds, bad backgrounds like I did, but they want to help the kids. So we've captured lived experience people that can help talk about these certain situations that they'll be learning about. And then on top of this, the long-term goal, not long-term, it's really short. We have about 5 hours of footage now, but there'll be a documentary that's going to be going with this. And as you've seen documentaries, they're usually pointing to a problem. You learn, you get mad, you get emotional about a problem, but then at the end of the documentary, that's it. There's no solution. So the documentary will proceed this, where you'll learn deeper about the issue, but now what do we do about it? I'm solution based. Don't just tell me about a problem and not give me a solution. So this is a prevention curriculum. And this, matter of fact, this is the prime week right here. Tomorrow marks a week before we launch our crowdfunding Kickstarter campaign for the Walk With Me Impact curriculum. And just thank you. I definitely wanted, this is on a passion that's burning. As you know, through this interview, it keeps coming up. This is prime time on my mind. August 2nd, we will be on Kickstarter, raising the funds we need to create the prototype of this curriculum. And throughout the month, I'm on mad fundraiser campaign mode.
Wow, that is so beautiful. That is so admirable for you to do it now, one, and two, and really just charge with no fear and saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to save lives. And because of it, you're going to be successful. I mean, you've been successful in many things before, but this must feel different.
It does, and it feels like another that video game again, that next level. This feels like I've been in the trenches, literally in the schools, working with youth firsthand, working with adults, working with gang members, working with people that most people shun off. I've worked with pimps, I've worked with prostitutes, I've worked with drug people that ODing in front of me. I've worked with that population. I've lost friends to this. So that for 10 years to accumulate what I'm putting in here now, and now taking this outside of my just city, my county, and being able to expand this work for others to use throughout the nation. So that feels great. And it is a next level for me. as far as this community work. And like I said, going forward, this is a for-profit educational institution that I'm creating to take the work that I've done in the nonprofit sector and move this so it'd be readily available for anybody, anywhere.
So tell me a little bit about the program. So you said it's for profit, meaning people will pay for either courses. Is this a live setting, or it's online?
So it will be online, but right now the first prototype is it's a physical program that someone can purchase the facilitator's guide for, the manual that not only teaches you how to facilitate the program, but it's like a Bible for mentors, teaching you how to be a mentor, how to be a quality mentor. And then there's 2 books that the kids will get for elementary, middle school, high school age. One is like a set of choose your own adventures, taking the kids down the path of these kids that honestly built after me and my friends' lifestyles, helping them address and learn coping skills, learn how to deal with certain traumatic experiences that will come their way or they may have already dealt with, including like the loss of a friend's life. You know, these kids are dying, and the kids that die, their friends are still here. I was that guy who lost friends at 12 years old, 16 years old, and no one ever stepped in to see, how are you doing? Are you okay? The therapy was out of the way. The only thing we did was drink a bunch of liquor and use drugs. That was our therapist. But here's teaching kids other means and other ways to do that. So it will be, people will be able to purchase the curriculum to facilitate, learn how to facilitate it. And then online monthly, we're having like a mentor support group where they'll get mentors that are facilitating it wherever they are, can get additional training and support for themselves, be able to have a safe place where they can discuss issues they're dealing with. So now we created a network of mentors throughout the world that are now on here. And as I've been in this industry for, like I said, 10 years now, the sometimes you'll have a kid that moves to a different region, that moves to a different city, a different state. So having a network built where this kid just moved to Atlanta and there's in middle of the program or at the end of the program, and now they have a connection point over here, ultimately creating this web to help connect kids all over the place so that we can help save their lives.
Mhm. Could this be a government program sponsor?
Absolutely. Look, I want it so customizable. The goal is to help save young men from
Because
here.
what comes to my mind, and I'm sure you have thought of this too, it's like you're really doing what the city and government is trying to do after kids get out of jail.
Right.
Right? But you're doing a prevention, meaning what can we do now so we don't let our kids go to jail and let our kids on the street? So what you're doing, you're creating a network of like super bees all over the country and hopefully all over the world, that now they have this hub that they can help these kids and people in these regions, right, get the knowledge necessary.
Absolutely.
This is
So
so cool.
school districts, the programs like the one I created here in San Diego, the nonprofit here, programs like that are other places that need a curriculum, need this for, and all the way to mom. You have shoot, the number one youth mentoring program is families, single mothers, grandmothers that are raising these kids, and they love them, but they don't necessarily have the training needed to help prevent and have this curriculum at hand. But the mom can use this. So we want it to where anybody who's dealing with the youth can utilize this. That's the goal. So yes, please, government, they need this. Get behind it. We, especially as the United States, we lead on one industry here in the United States. That's the prison industry. Out of the whole world, we do not lead on any other industry other than incarceration. We are number one at that. And we have more prisons in the United States than the entire world has combined here in the United States. So that is a big industry that we want to interrupt that. We want to stop that. How do we get kids from never, ever, ever going down that path? And then that helps taxpayers. Taxpayers are paying tons of money to house inmates, aftercare, probation, all of these things that we can be utilizing for other stuff. So Let's prevent them from, and then just saving lives from going down having traumatic experiences. So definitely government.
So moms can use the program, governments can enlist and hire a program such as this out where they have maybe classes in their city, whatever. But this is really amazing. I would love to come and spend a day with you and see what you guys do. I would love that.
Absolutely, that would be a pleasure.
Yeah, this is so incredible. And so it's launching very soon, you said. And then why are you integrating NFTs into it? Do you feel like that's going to open the subject up to a whole new side of people, or what is the how does the NFT come into this?
Um, like I said, I've been an artist my entire life. I love art. I love this new NFT space first and foremost. So in this book, in this curriculum, I've hand drawn all of the pictures that go in here. My best friend painted the cover that is on the book. So art is my life. So the NFT, this next month, this next year, I'm fundraising to get all of this off the ground. Everything, every venture, it takes some money. And my immediate goal is a little over $1 million that I need for the different parts of this that I need to get off the ground. And so the NFTs will be utilized as a fundraising tool as well. First step is this August 2nd. We're launching on Kickstarter for that crowdfunding. And then in September, early October, we're launching the NFT line, NFT version collection of the pictures that were hand drawn in here. Passionate pictures, love in these pictures, and the painting will be turned into digital NFT non-fungible tokens that will be transferred over. So working on that. So the NFT connection is the fundraising tool, and there'll be a bunch of utilities. We're working on those now. One of them being a mentoring conference that we're going to be having, and a couple of other different ventures. Been reaching out and have a connection with a bunch of influencers, media, entertainers, movie stars, rap artists that are also going to help push and promote this as well. So we're like I said, go for it all. Shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon. If you don't hit the moon, at least you landed amongst the stars. So we're going for it all, and it's worth it. We're going to save lives. And so as much awareness as we can get out there as possible would be great. And who knows where, I like to drop the rock into the lake and let the ripples go where they go. So I want to see how big of a rock can we drop, and how far can these ripples expand?
That is such a beautiful thing to say. How do people find it? Give us some websites, give us some links. Um, Let us find you. How do we find you?
Okay, so Walk With Me Impact, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Soon, as soon as I get down to it, we need a YouTube page that'll be up as well. But just type in Walk With Me Impact on all media sources. Discord coming soon. But Walk With Me Impact, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere. You name it, we're there. Entrepreneurs, another tip. Don't hide yourself. Be on every platform. And you don't have to dance and shake your butt to be on TikTok. I don't care if you sell real estate. Go on there and sell real estate, but don't not be there. Be present.
Yeah. Put in the time and effort. That's all it is. And be consistent even if nobody shows up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then those few people that do show up, love on them like they were the biggest crowd ever. Don't neglect that 3 people that showed up. You only have 10 people that are tuning in and liking your post. Those 10 people need to be the best people you've ever had in your life. You need to love on them. Don't, I only got 10 views. I wanted 1,000. Well, you didn't get those. Those 10 people showed up and paid attention to yourself, and you think you're important. The rest of the world might not. So love on the people that loved on you.
Ah, that is such a beautiful way to end the podcast today. Thank you, Armand, for being here with us. And this was very refreshing conversation. And I do mean that. I do want to come down and see you and what do you do, and would love to be part of it and help and support however I can.
Absolutely. It'd be a pleasure. Thank you for having me, because you could have interviewed a million other people, but you chose little old me. So
Yeah.
thank
Well, what you do is it's very important, and I love helping as much as I can. So hopefully there's going to be even more help than just this interview. But I thank you for your time, and for everyone listening today. I think this is going to be very good. Thank
Absolutely.
you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you, Aaron.
All right. Bye. Have a good day.